Yeah. Look here how they're starting this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, it really is.
And I'm so glad you don't have to do anything. They just hook into you. You don't have to hook into them.
All I got to do is talk.
Yeah.
Unless something goes wrong, and that's when I'll be calling you.
And that's when I'll call Chad.
Yeah, and I've got the guy's phone number, so we can call him.
Okay, this is hilarious with your tennis shoes and your tie. I'll put these up for everybody to see how you're doing this.
Well, it's incredible.
It is.
No, there could be people on here from all over the world.
Right, and you can do this with Kathy and them anytime. Christmas got absolutely ruined. We could do this.
Really?
Kathy could be in on it. I could be in on it. You could be in on it, and you get open presents.
And we could set that up?
Yeah. Called Zoom.
Yeah, it is called Zoom. Well, the truth is, we ought to do that.
Well, let's see if they want to come here and try to do something else, see how bad it is or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we're supposed to worse, we would all just be Zooming in our own houses opening presents.
It wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. Oh, here, I'll put this in your office.
Thank you.
Okay, the buzzer's going, Pills.
What?
The timer's going, Pills. The timer is going.
Oh, it's that dish full. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was worried about. Oh, man. Honey, then set the clock for 4.
Okay, get the chocolate now.
Hello, Knox family. Crew Keller here, your K-Club coordinator. Thank you all for joining us today in our chat with Harley. It truly is, so wonderful to see so many of you here. And, I hope that you're having an awesome homecoming and that you've participated in a handful of events and that you're hopeful to log on for a few more this afternoon and tomorrow as well. Before I pass it off to our two co-hosts of the event, Topper Steinman and Jordan Anderson, I do want to share with you just one quick technical note and remind you that when it comes time for a live Q&A, which is what this event is all about, to please enter your name, your class year, and your question in the Q&A box. And we are going to do our very best to go ahead and get you on screen so that you can chat with Harley. Additionally, once you appear on screen, please be sure to allow video and audio, which is located in your bottom left-hand corner. That way, everybody can see and hear you. That said, enjoy the event. Topper and Jordan, you guys can take it away.
He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown, Knox College. Derek Jackson has returned the opening kick. Oh, whoops. You know what? Knox College is not playing Illinois College today at homecoming. A thing that you might have heard of called COVID-19 has taken that opportunity away from us. But what it has given us is the opportunity to have from the Nosher Bowl, the real Nosher himself in a video chat with, I'm thinking it's hundreds of Knox people. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. My name is Topper Steinman. I'm a 1970 proud graduate of Knox College. I want you to meet the co-host, Jordan. Introduce yourself.
Like Topper said, my name is Jordan Anderson, class of 2019. Uh-oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Hopefully you all can hear me. But Coach Noser is a dear friend of mine. The Win, Lose, and Love was a bunch of people's idea, and they just trusted me to execute it. And it turned out to be a fantastic film about a fantastic man, and I learned so much about him along the way, and kind of the spirit that he left on this campus and still has on this campus each and every day, and really provides Knox for the foundation of what it's about. And this place definitely wouldn't be what it is without Coach Nosher. And so I had the pleasure of getting to know him and creating the movie about him, which was a memory of a lifetime. So that's why I'm here today. Topper, you got to unmute yourself.
Okay, we're gonna get back to that. What Jordan was just talking about in a minute with the win, lose, love piece. I also want to acknowledge and recognize Crew Keller. Crew is our K Club coordinator, is a fantastic human being doing great work there. Eric Johnson is on board to help us today. Eric is Associate Director of Alumni Engagement here at Knox College. There's Eric. In our background is probably the best athletic director that I know of in the country, Daniela Earl. She is with us today. And the man of the hour who is on screen now, and the reason that we're all here and that you're all tuned in, Harley Nosher is with us today. Harley, welcome to A Chat with Harley.
I appreciate being here.
We are so excited that you're here. This man, if I don't say it once, I won't. If I don't say it now, I won't say it again. Probably changed my life, and he changed the lives of so many people out there. We're going to get to that chat in just a little bit. But before we do that, I want to allude back to what Jordan talked about. And I'm going to ask Jordan to say a few words. I'm going to ask Harley to preface it a bit. We're going to give all of you who are zooming in and viewing or listening a chance to see a 3-minute little script from Win, Lose, Love. Jordan, talk about that a little bit more, if you will.
Yeah, so it was just a fantastic project. The idea really is me with it and but approached me with the idea. I believe it was homecoming 2 years ago now. They had talked about it. I was working on another project, and just more and more talks came, and it eventually worked itself into what you all saw and what came to be. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage you. It's on the Knox College Athletic YouTube page now. You can watch it in its entirety. But I just had a great time putting it together. It really captures the magic of Win, Lose, and Love, but also captures the heart and soul of Coach and what he meant to this campus and what he meant to his student athletes and just everybody that he touched each and every day through, whether it was Bucks camp or so many different things we talk about throughout the piece. But it was all focused on winning, losing, and loving. And, it definitely taught me a lot about and that's kind of where it all came to be.
Jordan did an absolutely beautiful piece with that. And we're going to get to this little piece that we want to play. Harley, do you want to say anything in reference to the piece and the philosophy of Win, Lose, Love? We can do it both now and after the short piece that we'll play. Any comments from you, Harley?
Well, my only comment would be, Topper, that when I initially heard about the idea of putting together a film, I was not terribly enthusiastic. It just seemed like a little bit much. And then I met Jordan Anderson and the world turned sideways. So the thing that I would say is an opportunity to say publicly how much I appreciate the job he did in taking something that could have been mediocre at best and really making it into something very special.
Thanks, Harley. In 5 minutes, we're going to come out to the listening and viewing audience and want from you one at a time or whatever to get into this chat with Harley as we've talked about it. But right now, we're going to play for you, our viewers and listeners, a 3-minute clip from Win, Lose, Love. And if I were king for a day, I would make it mandatory that everybody who's working with youth watch this 3-minute clip at least, because it's priceless. Join it as we show this Win, Lose, Love, a 3-minute clip on the philosophy that is encased with this whole concept. Can we bring that up, crew? Or Jordan, either one.
You guys see it now? Uh-oh.
You don't know this out there, but every once in a while here we go.
And it all comes back to this philosophy, this coaching philosophy you had. How to win, how to lose, and how to love. What does that mean?
Well, Jordan, here's what it means. The man I played for in college, William D. Rohr, taught me that winning is something that happens when everybody connected with an organization does everything they can to make it happen. He made it very clear to me that wanting to win wasn't enough because everybody wants to win. You got to be willing to work to win, you got to be able to sacrifice to win, and you've got to be able to forfeit your own personal desires to the well-being of the group, then you can win. And once you've won, you've got to remember to stay humble and recognize that nobody does it by himself. That's how you win. Now, how to lose, Jordan, nobody wants that lesson, but the truth is, until you get that lesson, you probably can't learn how to win. And how to lose is this, Jordan. What you don't want to be is a bad loser. You know what the bad loser says. The bad loser says, oh my gosh, those referees were awful. That gym was so dark. Oh, it was so windy out there in the golf course. And there's just no way. The bad loser has an excuse every time and will continue to lose. The other thing you really don't want, Jordan, this is what my coach taught me. You don't want a good loser. You really don't want the guy who says, it's okay. Had a nice trip. We had a good time together. It was all fun, but just a game. Good loser probably isn't going to have a whole lot of success either. What you need to have, and what I've always hoped to have in my programs, and had lots and lots of them, is hard losers. Guys who hated it, Jordan. Didn't like it at all. The first thing the hard loser does is not look to see what mistake his coach made or his teammates made. He says, what in the heck could I have done different in order to make this thing work? And then he goes about doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't make that mistake again. And that hard loser, I'll promise you, at some point is going to turn it around and get it going the other way. Now, the tough part, how to love. Lots of people understand the winning and losing. The loving part comes from Jesus. And here's what he said. He said that we all should love one another. That love is agape love, Jordan. Love that says, I am terribly concerned about the well-being of everybody on my team. My coach, my teammates, my managers, my trainer, the fans, everybody matters. And when you get a group of guys who understand how to win, how to lose, and then figure out what it means to really love each other, look out, Jordan. That's going to be a pretty tough outfit to be.
So as I said, I would love to take that all across the country and play it for anyone working with youth, athletes, students, adults, over and over and over again. Harley, do you want to make a comment about any of that so far briefly?
Topper, my only comment would be that it's a thrill to me to have spent 4 years at Knox College trying to get people to understand that.
Thousands of us understood it, understand it, and use it literally as a life mantra. We're going to come out to the audience in just a bit, and that's the whole focus of the day is to have this chat with Harley and to open it up to you, our viewers and listeners, to have a chat with Harley. I want to remind us that we're in the middle of a thing called COVID-19, ergo the mask. Knox College is incredibly focused on creating health and safety for everyone on campus. And I want to applaud Knox's effort in that regard. I also want to suggest that we're also doing this via Zoom. And anybody who's ever worked with technology, I've done my fair share awfully, knows that there may be glitches. So as there are glitches, we'll work through those just like we'll learn to win, lose, and love today. So I guess I'm asking crew, do we have a first person up that we can do a chat with Harley. And this is going to go on as long as we need it to go on. The only ground rule I'll put out there right now is this. If you don't mind, as you come on and can be brief with your questions, brief with your comments, we're going to ask Harley to do the same, because I think we're going to have a whole lot of folks wanting to be part of this chat with Harley. So crew, do we have somebody first up?
Looks like we got Michael Smith, class of 92.
I think Michael Smith in the class of 92 may be in this year's Hall of Fame.
Is he ever?
Michael, are you on?
I am.
Oh,
There he
man.
is.
I'm honored to hear your voice. I'm going to let you chat with Harley. Go for it. There's Michael Smith. You go for it, Michael Smith.
Hi, Harley.
Mike, my gosh, nice going.
Coach, number one, so great to see you, number one, and great to be here. Thank you for your letter, I should say, in congratulating me. And thank you, Coach. I don't know if you recall, but it was 29 years ago that you called me as a 17-year-old debating whether or not to finish his high school football season after an injury. And that started a relationship that has meant the absolute world to me. And for you to take time to make those phone calls, and that phone call in particular, and all of the guidance and the love, the encouragement from then on has meant the world to me. I truly believe that as a young man, I was influenced greatly by 4 people: Ron and Lynn Smith, my parents, my brother Darren Smith, and you. And to be able to have this opportunity, even for just a brief couple minutes, means the world. And I just want to thank you for your guidance, and obviously for helping me make my choice to come to Knox and to do the things that I was able to do here.
Mike, you can't imagine that I wouldn't remember that phone call. I remember it
I know.
perfectly. And
I
I
know.
remember that by taking good care of yourself, you put yourself in a position to have one of the greatest college athletic careers anyone could possibly have. So to have that recognized by the Hall of Fame is just, well, you talked about your mom and your dad and your brother. In a lot of ways, Mike, I think the whole outfit's going in the Hall of Fame because you guys have been so close and so supportive all these years. So once again, congratulations.
Coach, thank you so much. Love you.
Love you too, Mike.
Mike Smith, for those of you who didn't catch it, is going into this year's Hall of Fame, Knox Lombard Hall of Fame. His parents, Ron and Lynn, are incredible people, as is Darren, his brother. And they are great friends of our dear friend, Tim Hyman, rest your soul, Tim, and Kathy Hyman. So what a treat to have Mike Smith come on. Our next caller is Mary Weber, class of 79. Mary, come on in and have a chat with Harley. And you're going to remember that person also, Harley.
Oh, Mary.
Mary, can you unmute your?
There we go. All right. I had to press the space bar to get myself unmuted.
Mary, when's the last time we saw each other?
It's been a while. It's been a while. I have a couple things I want to say. My first question is, do you still run the track like the picture in the index in the 79?
Oh,
True.
not quite up to that, Mary. Oh.
No, you're not doing that anymore. Okay. I just thought I'd check and see. I do want to say that Harley Nosher was one of the great encouragers in journey at Knox. And the truth of the matter was that while I have a big mouth, and I've been accused of using it in times that are inappropriate, by becoming a cheerleader, I was allowed to use my big mouth at the side of the football games and at the side of the basketball games. And I very much enjoyed that. And I want you to know that I've taken all of your encouragement and I have continued to be a cheerleader now in all of my years since I was at Knox. I think my sports cheering is still appreciated by everyone but my son, who informed me that parents were supposed to be seen and not heard athletic events. And so I always clapped because he could not distinguish my clap from anyone else's clap. So sports and music and family and charities are still getting lots of my cheering and some of my effort along the way as well.
Great to see you, Mary.
Yeah, delightful to be here. And I am definitely going to check out that video that I just got the link for. So good to see you as well. And
Mary, before you leave, put that picture back up again, will you?
okay,
Harley, here we go.
this is page 206 in the 1979 yearbook. So there.
Eat your heart out, Harley. Eat your heart out. Huh? It looks like last.
Oh, man.
Looks like last year.
How long ago is 1979? That's halfway through my years at Knox.
That was an significant time. And this guy over here I picked up at Knox too. He was on the 1978 intramural basketball winning team.
Medical students.
Then he left to be with the medical students, and I thought he was going away. And he kept coming back to visit.
Like a bad penny, right, Mary?
Here we are, 38 years later. I put on the Facebook picture of us on our wedding day. We got married in Kresge Hall and taken out outside on the driveway there. And then a picture from last November with our middle child who got married. So you get a little bit of contrast in there. So,
Mary, great to have you on. Thank you kindly.
good to be here. Thanks so much.
Love to both of you. Our next caller, I saw a name that I recognized earlier, but Mark, and I'm gonna maybe mispronounce your last name, Mark. So I'm gonna let you do that, and Harley will know who this is. Mark, go for it.
Mark Chomowski.
Yeah.
Look at that.
How you
Harley
doing?
knows.
Oh, man.
Wonderful, Harley. It's so good to see you. So I'm from the class of 81, and I played football for 4 years. I'll never get in the Hall of Fame for my athletic performance, but it was so great to play under Harley and Coach Parton and Campanelli and Tim Hyman. Just, I still look back on those days and think what a gift that was to be able to play sports. But you always made it clear right from the start that we were student athletes, not athlete students, and that our classes, our studies came first. So I was the first to go to college from my family, and I've told people the two best decisions I've ever made were going to Knox College and marrying my wife Terry, who's a Beloit graduate, and we met up here in Milwaukee. And so, as you know, I'm a primary care doctor, and just a few weeks ago, I was asked to become the head doctor of our hospital, the chief medical officer at the Aurora Medical Center in Grafton. And I'm used to I had been used to being an offensive lineman and, getting to play from the sideline as a center and a guard and carrying it out and encouraging teammates. And now I'm in a different position of being more of a coach. And honestly, I talked to the group last week about lessons I learned playing football at Knox, about teamwork and so many things that I learned that I never would have thought would still carry through to today. And I wrote down some of and you were so kind to me, Harley. You probably remember a surgical wound I had that you had to look at over the year before season started. But you took an interest in all your athletes, and we could sense the caring, the passion, that you wanted good sports. You wanted people to be good people, and it wasn't all about winning. And although I'm happy we beat Monmouth twice in the 4 years I was here, we didn't win a ton of games. The best year we were 4-4-1, but it was great. And I just wanted to show you. I took this. This is my license plate.
Oh, man. Outstanding.
And so it's been a source of pride, and my best friends are still my old Knox teammates and classmates, Rob Hetz and Chris Daniels and Ward Dietrich and Mike Takahara, if you remember any of those names.
Oh, sure.
Great grant. So I just wanted to say thank you, Harley, for your kindness and your great example of what it was to be a leader and a man and a role model.
Mark, thank you kindly for coming on and all those things. Harley, do you have a comment for back at Mark? And Mark, what a beautiful testimony.
Well, I want to say congratulations on that new assignment and on all you've accomplished, I know, as an outstanding doctor. It's just great to see you, Mark.
Thanks for tuning in, Mark. Appreciate you.
God bless you, Harley. Thank you.
Same to you.
We've heard from and now we're going to go on, but we've got in our chat a Julian, a Dave Ladner, a Fran Paradise, a Cliff Rudnick. But right now we're going to go on to somebody that you'll recognize also. I think, Harley, he needs no introduction from me to you. So Steve Baumgartner, I think, might be. Check this out. This would be 1976. There you are, Steve.
Can you even see me? Hey, Harley.
Barney, it's not 1976. Tell him it's the summer of 72.
I do remember that, my friend.
Yes, you're darn right. We both do.
I wanted to say one thing, that if anything, the time that we had in 1976 meant win, lose, or love to me. And I think most on that team can attest to the same thing, that we had something special.
Yes.
So, and the other thing, when I never really thanked you enough for your comments at my induction into the Hall of Fame. And thank you for that. Because that time that we spent in the wrestling room was something that will carry a lifetime. So thanks again, Harley. I love you a lot.
Barney, I love you, and there's nobody who's in that room who will ever forget it, ever.
I hear you. Hopefully, Fran will have some comments too. I think he's on with us also. I was kind of hoping we could both be on at the same time. That you could really get the effect of the past. It's good talking with you, Harley.
Steve, stay on for a second. Steve Baumgartner, as I mentioned, would be in the class of 1976, the last time 44 years ago that Knox College won a Midwest Conference football championship. Fran Paradise, the quarterback on that team, and my brother Bob Steinman, was able to play on that team. You guys were phenomenal. You've stayed phenomenal. You are phenomenal. Steve, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Jeez.
Thanks a lot. Our next caller, and you're going to recognize this guy too. Harley, do you speak Oklahomese?
I know who this is.
Okay,
I speak to him all the time.
Well, let's try it, because you might be surprised. It could be his wife too. I don't know.
I hope so.
Who's on?
That would be Julie Stolarski.
Let's see if this in fact happens. Look at this.
Hey.
Whoa, it is both of them.
It is. I had to stay around long enough just to say hi, and then I'll let you guys talk.
Oh, Julie, it's great to see you and see your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
He was my boyfriend right there at Knox College.
You said it.
Well, Coach, if it hadn't been for you, I would have never been able to get engaged to this lady and eventually marry her. Because Harley was kind enough to take a risk, and I mean a big, big risk, by co-signing the note at the jewelry store for me to buy the engagement ring. Big day. Thanks, Harley.
And look what came out of all of that, brother.
Yeah. Here we are, more than 50 years later.
with a wonderful family and a great life. Geez, it's good to see you both.
I'm going to let you guys talk. I just came to say hi.
Bye, Julie.
And that's all I have, Topper, Jordan, and Coach. we
Dave and
love
Julie
you. We
Ladner
love
are
you.
great friends of Knox College. And Harley, is there anything you want to say to Dave and Julie?
To David Ladner and Julie Stolarski Ladner, that there's nobody I'm more proud of in the world.
Oh, so thoughtful, so kind. Thank you. We feel the same way, Coach, about you.
Thank you, David. I love you.
Love you too. And Maury Wills told me to tell you he loves you.
How about Eddie?
Eddie, I called, he was sleeping, but I know he would have said, tell Coach Dosser, I love him. Sounds like Eddie Robinson.
For those of you who are listening in and maybe not catching that, Dave Ladner is a great friend of Maury Wills, and Dave and Julie Ladner are a great friend of Eddie Robinson and his wife, and all of them have connections back with Harley Nosher through Dave Ladner kind of stuff. So what a treat that is. David, Julie, love you guys. Thanks for chatting in.
Love you, Top. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller, you're going to recognize this guy because he was one of your four. And Jordan Anderson's also going to recognize this guy because he went to visit him once upon a time in a faraway state. Let's find out who it is. And thank you for putting up with our pauses on occasion. Look at this. He's had a drink or two. I just know this.
Hey, wait a minute.
You know who that is?
That guy can't possibly be the guy that ran that far that fast. Can't be. Can't be.
Is he going to say anything, or is he just on there? Bob, are you coherent?
I'm here. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Hi, Bobby.
We got you, Bob.
You got me or not?
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Speak up, brother. Speak up. Go for it.
This is Bob Bolier, class of 73, and I'm out at a concert on Siesta Key, and I would say, take that mask off, Topper. This is all media BS, but I'm not going to say that.
Nice job, Bob. Nice job. Well done.
You might know.
We're fine down here in Florida. Don't believe the numbers. It's all BS. It'll all go away November 4th when we get 4 more years. But I'm not going to talk politics. I want to talk about one of the greatest guys ever, Harley Nosher, who met me in the end zone, I think about 49 years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But what a time, Harley. It was a moment.
Those were the days, Bobby.
I had to break away from my rock music and come get on this call to tell you how much I love you and how much that team from 1971 and all of us when we turned it around for Knox College. And you were the inspiration to me. You coached us freshman year and we beat Monmouth, and we went on and we turned it around, and we did that for that team and all those teams that were 1-8, 1-9, 1-0-10, whatever they were, but we changed it. And nobody thought we could do it except you and us. And we did it. And I'll be forever grateful for what you did to help get us there. And because we had a team, and I know Topper will attest to that. We weren't losers anymore, bud. And I love you for getting us out of that hole.
Thanks, Bobby. And I love you for being the key to getting out.
It was a great year.
Harley, you have to do this real quickly. And for those of you that watch Win, Lose, Love that Jordan captured so eloquently and so well, Bob Bolier did something. Talk about it, Harley, because there may be some listeners that don't know that story. And I would agree with everything you've said so far, except the mask part, Bob. We can't go political. Go, Harley.
The story is that in 1970, we were coming off 10 years of abject failure with a football program that probably was close to being terminated. And we played a game at Ripon, should have won it and lost it. Led Lawrence a week later up in their Banta Bowl. And our coach said at halftime, fellas, if we can't beat this team, we can't beat anybody. I thought, boy, that's a risky thing to say to a team that hadn't won about 3 games in 4 years. So I was up in the press box watching Lawrence catch us and pass us with 32 seconds to go on the clock. They went ahead. It was about that time I figured I better get out of there and get downstairs, think of something to tell Coach Bowman to say to us after he had told us if we can't beat this team, we can't beat anybody. That's why I was in the end zone, contrary to some people thinking that I jumped there. But the fact is I walked there and was in the end zone when Lawrence, for whatever reason, kicked the ball deep with 32 seconds on the clock and kicked it right to a guy who had prayed to God they would and who knew what to do with it. And about 17 seconds later, he ran into my arms in that end zone, and I will never, ever forget the great feeling that we had right there that minute that day. A great, great play for Knox College.
Yeah, if there's
Thanks,
ever
Coach.
a moment, go ahead, Bob.
The what?
If there
I was
was
going to say, Topper, you were part of that team, man, and you knew what it took. And you were there for all that losing. I want to hear how'd you feel, man, when we did that and we went 6-3 that year.
Well, if you'd ever see a young man cry, I cried then. And I probably cried through a lot of the losses too. And you helped turn that corner, and you were responsible for that piece of our success. So thank you to Bob. Go back to your prayers at Sunset Key or wherever you are, okay?
Siesta Key.
Yeah, go there too. Great to see you, Bob. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot. Harley, you take care, bud. Love you.
Love you too, Bobby.
Yep. Bye-bye.
That was a treat. Watch Win, Lose, Love, and What Jordan Captures someday when you get a chance with Bob Beaulier. Our next caller up will need no introduction to you either, Harley. So meet this gentleman who you know all too well, and I know all too well. Welcome. You got it, Max.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Coach. There's another one of those fifth-year seniors. Max, how you doing?
Well, and that's really what I want to add to the story on that. Just for those of you out there who don't know, Topper and I made Knox College history, and that we were the first red shirts that the school ever had. And actually, it had to be a special ruling by the Midwest Conference to have that happen, because Topper and I had both broken our ankles in the last Saturday scrimmage before the first game. And Bob made mention of the fact of how his touchdown and the subsequent season really turned things around at Knox. And I was very proud to be a part of that also. Matter of fact, I still have my playbook from those days. And also, Coach, you'd be happy to see that I actually took notes there as well. And I'll never forget I Write White 52-6. That was our best pass play. But I'm a little bit concerned that, well, actually, Bob probably didn't know this, but I want to talk about my big contribution to that team. And my big contribution was talking Topper into coming back for that year. That was the big turnaround part. I didn't play a lick, and it was for good reason, because I wasn't good enough. But actually, after all, Coach had recruited me to be a basketball player, and it turned out I wasn't any good at that either. But when we got Topper to come back, that cemented the side of defense, and it changed Topper completely. In that our sophomore year, when we go home, we were 0-8-1 our sophomore year. Except Topper found an interesting way to talk about that. When somebody'd say, "How'd your team do last year?" Topper would go, "Oh, 8-1," and which was technically accurate and completely untrue. But that was something that we wanted to get away from, and that was certainly the reason I wanted to come back for one more year. And I'm sure glad Topper was able to join me on that. And to echo what Bob said, nobody was happier about that than Harley Nosher, even though football wasn't his number one sport. It meant a lot to him, and so glad to have been a part of that.
Great to see you, Max.
Max Euster's from the little town of Gilson, Illinois. I know that because I stayed with him my second senior year, and I was telling Jordan Anderson that on the way in. And Max is a emeritus professor from the University of Kansas now, and has done incredible stuff in his life. So hats off to you, Max. Anything else, Harley, you want to say to Max Usler?
Oh, just the same thing you did. What a great job he's done all these years for thousands of young people.
He sure has. Max, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, and I hope your son's good. Thank you. Next up is Chris and Christine Gertz, and I hope I did that name right. And I think we're going to see him right here, Harley. It's all yours.
That would be Paige Gertz.
Hi, Coach. How are you?
Oh, and there's your family. Are you kidding me?
We wanted
Everybody-
to show the next generation.
That girl looks so much like her mother that it's precious. Oh my gosh. Christopher, how you doing?
Good.
We're doing good.
We're glad to see you, Coach.
Oh, nice to see all four of you. What a treat. What an absolute treat.
Oh, it is our treat.
No, he's not seen you before. We didn't make it back last time.
No, the treat is ours, Coach. It is wonderful to see you and to thank you for like so many others that you've heard from you're the reason that both of us ended up at Knox, and without all those calls you made to my mother to recruit me, I would have never I just couldn't say no to you, and I would have never met this wonderful woman and had this wonderful family without you. So we owe you a lot. And it is wonderful to see you.
It's so good to see you. Christine, this is impossible. It is not more than 3 or 4 days ago. I was thinking about the test that I gave you that last year in your paper. I mean that sincerely. I was thinking about that this past week.
Well, I was very lucky to be in your last class, Coach. I appreciated every moment of it.
I appreciate every moment of thinking about all that your family and I were able to share.
And Michelle gives her best, too.
She's off playing tennis.
Give her mine, too.
She's playing tennis.
Aha.
She can't be here right now.
Harley, one thing about that paper that you remember that you'd be willing to share with the rest of us.
The start of Christine's paper was nobody else in the world would give a test like this.
I love it.
And it was true.
That's classic. Well, to both of you, to all four of you, thanks for
God.
coming on and sharing your love with this life mentor, Harley Nosher. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely great to see you.
Our next caller is one of those persons, one of those persons who also shows up in Win, Lose, Love, and you might recognize this face and this person. Do you know a guy by the name of Bill First by chance, Harley?
Wow. There's a winner.
He'll be showing up here soon. I was there that night when this occurred. Check it out. Bill, it's all yours.
Hey, Topper, thanks a lot. It's great to be here. And Coach, it's always great to see you.
Hi, Billy.
You know, I guess one of the things that I want to say is that, and I told you this a number of times, is that most of the things that I used, or at least had used in my professional life, had a basis when I was back in Knox under your leadership as my coach, and which later became my dear friend. And I've always loved you for that. And you know, I've always told people in the past that when they've asked me about what impact did basketball have on me when I was interviewing for positions or whatever, and I would always say, well, it's not so much the basketball. Yeah, that's part of it. The team's the part of it. But the one that really, the thing that really had the biggest impact on me was my coach. And they would always say, well, you know, tell me some of the things you meant. Well, you know, the teamwork, the not taking on personal battles, those sorts of things. And you and I know what those all mean from our days in the past. But I just wanted to get in on this this chat today and say what a remarkable career you had at Knox and what a legacy you've left at Knox, and I love you for it.
Billy, thank you very much. And we could talk about your legacy and feel pretty darn good about that too. I love you too, Billy.
Thanks, Coach.
Like
Hi
I
to
said,
Peg.
Bill, thanks for joining us. Like I said, any one of these people could talk for 3 hours with Harley Dosher and Harley Dosher back. We appreciate the brevity of all your comments while knowing the depth of all of the thoughts that you're sharing are phenomenal. Bill First was probably one of the more competitive people I've ever met in my life. And on the court, he would chew you up. Off the court, what a hell of a guy. You're going to like this next guy too, because you know him. He's the co-captain of that 76 team. Meet this guy, if you will, Harley. Who is it?
Francis. It's Francis.
Hi, Harley.
Hi, friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And
You
yourself?
look good. You look good. Man, I haven't seen you for so long.
Well, I heard you grew a beard, so I thought I would, get in and
You're in
thing.
the big leagues.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I just really wanted to add my respect for you as well and love. Listening to the guys before me has been amazing. And to watch you listen, knowing your heart, knowing you, and to be able to stay strong through the time, through all of this has really been cool to watch. So, when you have a big heart, it's easy to lose it. And we all recognize that in you, but, nobody has talked about your strength. So I'm amazed, but I really wanted just to really add, what a wonderful opportunity it was for me to meet you and to get to know you, and to learn from you. And whether or not it was watching you or being with you on our football program or watching you coach basketball and knowing the guys in basketball, so many people said it right about the lessons learned. And I thought the video was amazing. Teaching us how to win, teaching us how to lose, but teaching us how to love. And I think when I think back about our 76 season, and that's what really appreciated me. I got there like Steve in 73, 72. We learned so much from the people that came before us and the stories about Bob's season and Bob's run. And of course, with Bob Steinman being in our group, we learned a lot through Topper. So it was really kind of cool for me. And I always tell people that to leave football, so many people leave football with injuries. But I left football with the greatest taste in my mouth because we were champions. And you taught us how to win. And I think about the guys that we know that were in my class that I'm still close with, and the kids that came below us and how we put a team together. And Albie and Al and Van and all the guys, we learned how to be a team and how to win. And that was all attributed to you and the leadership that you brought. So it was the greatest experience of my life. And to this day, I still teach and I still coach, still work with kids. And I carry on with the lessons that you've taught us, how to win, how to lose, and how to love. So thank you, Harley. You're a special, special man. And we all love you.
Thanks, Fran. I love you too.
Fran Paradise, for those of you who may not know, is the counterpart on offense to what Steve Baumgartner was on defense. They co-captained and were all conference performers on the 1976 Knox College Midwest Conference champions. Fran, it's great to see you, to hear from you, And thanks for being here with us. Beautiful.
Thanks, Topper.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Love you, Harley.
Thanks, man.
Caller. I think we're going to go to Michelle Almendinger. I think that's where we're going now. And there you've got it. Michelle, it's you and Harley.
Hi, Coach.
The circle's complete. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm so good. Christine and Chris were right. I'm on my way to go play in a tennis match, but I couldn't pass up my chance to come on and say hi and just say how much you've meant to me. You gave me a start in my career, which has taken me further than I ever would have imagined. You know, we have our good friend Dave Youngvorst to thank for getting me to Knox between the two of you. And I think that started it all. And I just, I love you. And I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to say hi and just tell you how important you've been to our family.
Michelle, do you remember the clock?
I absolutely do.
The silver clock?
Yep.
I see it every day.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. Tell your folks that, will you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're in Ohio with Christine and Chris and the kids. And they'll be so thrilled that we got to talk to you and say hi today.
Yeah, me too.
Michelle,
Me too,
before you
Michelle. It's
leave-
great to see you.
Michelle, before you leave, Harley, give us one sentence about the backdrop to that clock. What's that about? Quickly.
In 2000, when I retired, Topper, Michelle and Christine's mom and dad and the two of them got me this beautiful clock with a sentiment on it that was so precious that I have to keep it right where I see it every day.
It's a beautiful story and a beautiful, beautiful lifelong legacy and message, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Harley, our next caller won't need an introduction to you, and I'm not going to even pretend that I will edit out or edit in or allow less time. So this caller and you can have at it for however long this caller needs. Here you go.
Hey, Harley. It's Ray and Teresa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a caller if I ever heard of one. Oh, gosh. Hi, Steve. How are you guys?
Oh my goodness. Well, of course, right now I'm a mess because I'm just like weeping away at what I'm hearing because I know how many thousands of Knox alums owe so much to you, Harley.
Teresa,
You're
I
the greatest
remember
educator. You are the greatest educator that we have ever produced in terms of your impact on people's lives. And, you know, I just, whenever I hear people talk about what you meant to them, I just, I get all teary. So just to say, the only thing I did want to say, and you'll appreciate this, is if there was one event in a virtual homecoming that we could have that would have as much impact as potentially beating Monmouth in a football game, it's a chat with Harley Nosher.
Well,
I mean,
thank you
folks
very
have
much,
to know
Teresa.
that when I got to Knox, the first football game I got to, we started, you know, I'd already met Harley, but anyway, he came up and he grabbed me. And you know, you all know how fierce his belief is in you, right? When Harley has you in his sights, you think you can do anything, because he's just so ferociously there for you. So he comes up, he grabs him and says, "Girl, I think we got a shot at this one. We're going to win this one, girl." And that happened just about every football game. And every football game, I believed him, because in an important way, we won every football game. We really did, because we gave those students an experience, the experience that everybody here is talking about. And, you know, Harley, it's just, this is my last year. And to have my last year at Knox with no fall, winter sports, well, I'm really hoping for the spring. I'm like everybody, hoping that we'll have spring sports, but it just feels, it feels like there's just some important part of the Knox experience that we've had to put on ice this year. And just to have you here and talking to people, it just brings back the power of that experience. just how important that experience is for our students. And our coaches, you know, God bless them. They are out there figuring out ways to connect teammates to teammates, teammates to coaches, coaches to alumni, and they're doing it. But it's an uphill battle.
Tough deal. Has to be a real tough deal. But let me say 2 or 3 things, Teresa. Number one, the strength that you have imparted to Knox athletics is something that will always be appreciated by everybody who ever played and everyone who will play if they know it, because your support has been incredible to watch. And I've really, really appreciated that. Number 2, you've heard me say it a million times. When you told them, I'll do something about Alumni Hall, thank God they believed you. And I'll never, ever quit congratulating you on that incredible achievement. And number 3, I'd give anything if your last year could have been fun. But
Well,
thank you on behalf of everyone who loves Knox for 10 fabulous years.
Well, it's not about me today for sure, Harley, but I have to say that the experience of meeting you and seeing the impact that you have had on alumni has given me meaning and purpose and strength to barrel through this last year. I just want you to know that you're an inspiration to me. And we're trying to get through it. But one way we're getting through it is because we got the best coach ever. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. Ray, you married way up.
There's nothing I can add that Teresa hasn't said. Harley, you're the best. I wish I could golf like you, but it's never going to happen.
Ray, thanks for being such a good support to this president. It's been a fabulous thing you guys have done.
Thank you. You too.
I couldn't say it any better than that. Teresa and Ray, thank you. And Teresa, in your sayonara year, if Knox could have someone on board that would make the difference that you've made, we'd want it to be you. I don't know if you want it to be you. Knox College would want it to be you. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Both of you, Ray and Teresa, thanks. Harley, what do you think so far? We're kind of yawning our way through this, aren't we?
Oh, Topper.
This is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, we aren't done yet. We aren't done yet, because you're going to hear from a guy by the name of, I think that look almost looks like Bob Shulaw. Is that who I'm seeing up here now?
Bob Shulaw, that's a heck of a track man.
Look out. That's a name for the Bob. It's yours and Harley's. Take it away.
Hey, Harley, good to see you
Hi,
again.
Bobby. Oh, man, it's been a long time.
It has been a very long time.
Oh, gosh.
So I guess my memory from Knox, and I have several, but the one I remember most is at the end of my freshman year after playing basketball. You came up to me and said, Bob, I'd love to have you on our team, but you're probably never going to play in a varsity game. Maybe you should find something else to do. What an honest guy. Because first of all, you were absolutely right. On my best day, I was a mediocre basketball player. And I took that advice and went ahead and started running track in the winter instead of playing basketball the next year. But the real impact you had on my life and my daughter's life was when we had our baby, between our junior and senior year. It would have been easy for you not to have been supportive of that. And you helped us every step along the way. So my memories of you are not so much sports related as life related, and I appreciate it. Life's turned out pretty good for me since then. Danielle is living here near me in Houston now, and
we both think of you often. So thanks very much. And thanks for doing this, Topper and guys. I really appreciate it.
Bob, wonderful call. Thanks for calling in. Harley, some comments?
Thanks, Bobby.
I remember Bob Shula well, and what a tribute. So congratulations in your city of Houston too. Thanks for calling in, Bob. Appreciate you. Thank you. Our next caller is a guy that will need no introduction either. Comes out of this sport called basketball, and he did play it well. And former, and I don't present, I'm not sure, Jake. But anyway, this guy will need no introduction to you either. Gary Jacobson. Jake, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me, Topper?
Can't hear you. Go for it.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, Coach. How are you?
Okay, doing okay. How about you?
I'm great. You know, really great comments from all our fellow athletes. I was sitting here trying to think about what I was going to say profound, and I was just thinking, God, I've known this man for 50 years, from Milwaukee Bucks camp.
Yeah, those were
Knox
the
College.
days.
And all I can say is the most valued years I've had is since I've graduated and getting to know you better and your family, and admired you for the growth you've had beyond when we met. And one thing, though, that I remember at Knox that was the best compliment I ever got was I remember having trouble determining whether I could afford Knox College. And you took me in the office and we walked and talked through it. And you said you'd sign a note for me to go to school. And I was like, oh my God. And it, like, as you know, that motivated me to never take that loan from you. But it was the nicest compliment I could ever imagine. The other thing, though, I talked to Dan, my good friend Dan Calandro, and he said if you were to do that, that would have been an NCAA violation.
And there you go. There you go.
But then after that, though, I consulted my other sidekick, Bill Colby, and he indicated, don't worry, the statute of limitations is passed.
There you go. Listen, Jake, think of all the things you've done for me.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's, I've just really loved the last few years where we've had the golf outing and the pizza and ice cream with you and Peg, and just admire the way you both just glitter at each other, and your marriage is so strong, and just love you. Always will.
And I love you, Jake.
Thank you, Coach.
Jake, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. Harley, is it not true that Jake and a couple of those guys you mentioned come by to see you just about every fall and have done that for years and had a little round of golf at Swangataha? And is that a fact?
Rocket and Tim Bopp and Jake, pretty good pals.
And the ability to come and say hey to you and Peg. For those of you who are listening, let me make a little comment here. If you think this is one-dimensional, you aren't listening to the same program I am. This gentleman, Harley Nosher, the dimensions that he's created and what he's done for so many of us in so many varied ways is phenomenal. Michelle, Jake, thanks for coming on. Michelle Williams-Garvey is going to be a guest right now, Harley, and you'll remember Michelle. Michelle, it's yours and Harley's.
Hey, Harley.
Hi.
How are you? It's good to see you.
Thank you.
I just want to echo what everybody else has said, that it's just been, that's one of the reasons why I came to Knox. I came to visit one weekend in February, and I met you and you talked to me, and then I got emails and I got phone calls, and that's what brought me to Knox. I just truly appreciate it, and it's great to see you. And just thanks again for everything that you've done and helped me and come to Knox, because it was a wonderful experience and I will never forget it. So
I'm so glad it worked for you, and I appreciate seeing you.
Good to see you
Michelle, I
too.
love your sweatshirt. I can't quite read. Oh yeah, it says. Look at that. Look at that.
It's the old one from like the late 80s, early 90s.
And
So
it's
yeah,
still alive and well, right? Look
it
at
is
that.
still alive and well. It's a little tattered, but it still works. So
As are
we'll
you.
go for it.
Anything that's lived through COVID can live through anything.
That's
Thank
very
you for
true.
coming on, Michelle.
That's true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Well, I'll need no introduction to this next one. It's Uncle Bobby, So check this out. Check this out when you see this, Harley, who's about to come up. Bob and Janet, it's yours.
Can you hear me okay?
I can't see who that is.
Oh, there you go, Harley.
Ooh, get a bright light on that, Uncle Bobby.
There
Get
you
a
go.
bright light on that.
Hi, Coach.
Is that your brother?
That's my brother. That's my
I honestly couldn't see it. Hi, Bobby.
Hello. Hello, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm guessing knowing you as well as I do, you played golf this week. What did you shoot?
Well, I shot 85.
85. Good for you, man. So for those people who don't quite rightly know, Harley beat his age with that 85. You plus one it and you might be there. Am I right, Coach?
I'm 14 over par, Bob. No question about that.
Why would you expect anything less out of that? Way to go, Coach. Just a few things. Team and individual, a big part of your win, lose, love, no question about it. Team being the focal point. But one of the things, as this program here attests to, is how you treated everybody as an individual. And I know that firsthand because my older brother, who was my idol growing up, went to Knox, and he's probably more of a reason why I went to Knox than you. But now I think that you both are hand in hand into the experience that I had and the lessons that I learned. So your open door policy for every individual that came in contact with you was genuine and real. I always appreciated that. 2, your enthusiasm was contagious. It's just that you had the right words at the right time, in the right frame of mind, delivered with an amount of exuberance that pulls all of this together today. So what a beautiful thing for me to experience that as well. And 3, that whistle. Do you still have that whistle?
Not so much, Bobby.
Not so much anymore.
Take a shot at it. Bob,
That was like the best whistle.
Take a shot at it,
Oh, that
Harley.
was the best whistle ever.
Take a shot at it, Harley. Can you do it or not?
Well, let's not hurt it.
Not so much, Topper. little too much. Little too much
So,
ad
last story, and then I'm out of here. In 1977, when I graduated from Knox College, I was lucky enough to become the head football coach at Carthage High School. The Quincy Herald-Whig had me that year as the youngest head football coach in the state of Illinois that year. When I went into the athletic director's office before the fall season started, they said, Steinman, if you end up 4-5, you'll be doing a great job. And I told them at that time that would not be good enough for me, but I appreciated their comments. That first year, we went 7-2. The Quincy Herald-Whig did an article at the end of that year talking about enthusiasm brought to the program. That enthusiasm was a direct result of what Harley Nosher taught me. The cap to that 1977 season was the first fall banquet that Carthage football had. And the guest speaker that I invited who said, yes, I will be there was Harley Nosher. Remember that, Coach?
Oh, I sure do. I sure do, Bobby.
I always appreciated that. You gave the time to not only myself, but the people of Carthage, my teammates, my team at that time, and the whole bit. You know, you were the glue that held it all together. I was lucky enough to play with Fran and Steve, who you've heard prior on this. They carried a load. They made the team. We were winners as a result of what you and Albie and Van and Fran and Steve brought to the table. I'll never forget that. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Uncle Bobby. I love you dearly. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
Harley, I would that would be one of the gifts I would have given to Knox College. Maybe one of the best ones is talking my brother into coming here and being around you. Thanks, Bob, for coming on. Appreciate it. Our next caller is somebody who would also need no introduction to you like nobody will today. Daniela, are you out there?
She's going to take over here on my screen here. So let me.
She's coming in on another screen, so we're going to get to that. And then we've got a former board member coming on. I can see it up here now. So don't leave us, sir. Daniela, you go.
Well, hey, Harley. I hope you're doing well.
Thank
So we have had a lot of discussion about all that you've done for Knox in the past. So I thought I'd change gears and talk a little about what you're doing, continue to do for Knox today. You were one of the first people to reach out to me when I took this job, and thank you for that. I will be forever grateful. But what people may not know is that you're still pretty intimately involved. One of the things I've most appreciated about you is my ability to pick up the phone anytime and call you. I have never hesitated. You've always answered, so thank you for not screening my calls. But you're still so involved in the program. You're at so many events, and I just want to thank you for staying engaged and being willing to talk when I just need to run something by you, for being willing to come to golf tournaments, to come to Hall of Fame dinners. You know, you just continue to give and give and give, and that's really special. And for the people that aren't necessarily in Galesburg a lot, I felt like they needed to know that you're still giving back in so many ways. And for me, as the person who's now charged with trying to grow and develop this department, I truly appreciate your willingness to partner and collaborate when needed. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome for that, Daniela, and thank you for the job you've done of growing and improving and upgrading Knox Athletics. It's obvious anytime you come anywhere near any of our facilities, come near any of our new coaches, the thing is moving absolutely the way it needs to go.
Well, thanks, Harley. You've been a pleasure, and I look forward to continuing our phone calls as needed. Thanks for your support and all
Well,
your help.
I look forward to that too.
Daniela, thank you. And I could reach around and talk to her but I would echo what Harley just said about the role that Daniela Earl has played in the Knox Athletic Department has been phenomenal. But bigger than that, the role that Daniela Earl has played at Knox College is phenomenal. So thanks to Daniela and for your voice and the ability to hear from you. Appreciate that. Harley, do this, and Andy, I'm coming your way. So don't lose sight of this, but hang on for just a second before we put the Andersons up. What advice would you have in 3 sentences, Harley, for students, athletes, faculty, administration going through COVID-19 now?
Topper, I didn't get that. What was it?
I'll do it again. What advice would you have for students, athletes, administrators, faculty who are living through COVID-19, this coronavirus now?
What advice do I have?
Yeah, what would you say?
Believe the science would be my first advice. Follow through on all the dictates that have come forward from people who really know what they're talking about, so we can somehow make our way out of it. But in the process, as it relates to Knox College and what it has stood for all these years, make sure we don't lose sight of the fact that anyone and everyone who comes to Knox College is better for it.
Beautiful comments. Thank you. These 2 people, and I don't know if it's 2 or 1, I'm not sure what it is, but you'll recognize this guy, Tom Anderson. Andy, what you doing?
Hey, you caught me by surprise, man. Can you hear me?
Andy, how you doing?
Well, I haven't known you very long, so I just thought I'd, just check in. For people.
Hi, Sue.
For people that don't know, I think what I was in your second recruiting class?
Well, I think you graduated in 1966, so that means you entered in 1962, and that makes you the 2nd class.
Yeah. Obviously, we've been more than in touch all that time. Our son, who's now 53, was at a tilt board on your kitchen table in about 1967. and, you know, a lot of good times, annual golf games. And I just wanted to touch base and say, hey, you know, it's all been good. And hey, we're still trying to shoot our collective ages. And I hope we have more opportunities to do that.
Just so we live long enough to do it, Andy. That's the key.
That's good. Make it
Yeah,
last,
those
right?
those have been pretty darn good years and awful good times.
Well, appreciate the opportunity to check in and enjoyed all the interactions. Take care.
Thanks, Andy.
Andy, thanks, and thanks to both you and Sue. For those of you that have any connection with Knox College, you would recognize the Anderson name for lots of reasons. Tom and Sue Anderson you'd recognize. David Anderson you'd recognize as the Kid Club president. You'd recognize Kyle Anderson, who's in the Hall of Fame at Knox College. And for those of you on campus today, you'll recognize a volleyball player by the name of Katie Anderson, who plays here. So that legacy goes way, way back. Tom and Sue, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. This next caller, you'll remember as a football player, but and as an incredibly bright human being, Greg Divers. Greg Divers, you're up front and center with Harley Nosher. Hi, Greg.
Thanks, Topper. And thanks for inviting me to say something. Whoop, I gotta start my video, sorry.
Greg, now I see
There
you.
you go.
Yeah.
Now I see you.
Thanks again, Harley. This is special. There's so much to thank you for, the influence over the years, how you always make me and us feel welcome when we come back. That means a lot. As I said, I don't really, you know, there's so many things to thank you for. I think I just want to say thanks for treating us as student athletes. And a very big thanks for just what you said a couple of minutes ago about trust the science. I've been an educator. One thing you know that I've learned in my education is I think what I best know is what I don't know.
Yeah.
And what that has taught me is that trust the people who know. Harley, you're special. We love you. Thanks a lot.
Greg, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Greg Divers is a brilliant mind that came out of Knox College and played football incredibly well at a place called Knox and went on to dent the world in some really positive ways. Greg, thanks for joining us. Appreciate your presence.
My pleasure.
Thank you. This next person, Clifford Scott Rudnick. I remember this guy. Here you go.
Clifford's got a lock on me.
Look out now. Look out now. Here it comes.
You know, I love your beard, Harley.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, Clifford.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think about what you taught me, which is, and I still strive for it and haven't succeeded, is a degree of humility and patience and kindness, but more importantly, that a tolerance of people who you disagree with. Because you and I certainly had several disagreements when I was there, but you always treated me kindly and with patience and never dismissed me. And I've striven for my whole life to try to do that. I've been lucky enough to have taught law school, especially ethics and professional responsibility, the last 10 years before I retired.
Yeah.
I could never achieve your ability to look into somebody's eyes and somehow reach to their soul and down to their toes with that intense ability of yours and your kindness and patience. And you've had a tremendous impact upon my life. And I want to thank you for it. I know Clifford, I didn't say it much when we were at school.
That's a wonderful thing to hear you say, Clifford. I can remember when your beard and mine were red.
Yes, yes. And I had hair on the top of my head. You have more hair on the top of your head than I have.
It's been a while, but boy, it's great to see you.
Topper and Max haven't gotten any older.
You look
of course,
awesome,
we can't see
man.
Topper's face, so I don't know.
Yeah, you look awesome. You look great. You look great.
I wish we were there.
What beautiful comments, Cliff. And I would echo those that ability to learn to be in a room and civilly have discourse and go after it. So appreciate your comments a lot.
So, and I hope to see you all next year.
That'd be
Yes,
wonderful.
hope so too.
Cliff and I and a bunch of people, this would have been our 50th class reunion, 2020, having graduated in 1970. I can't think of a better way to spend it than doing what we're doing right now. This next caller, Cliff, thanks for checking in. Appreciate you.
See you, Topper.
Thank you. This next caller you'll recognize from those same days, Harley. And Sue Deans, you're on.
Well, I certainly do.
Hello.
Hi, Sue.
I was not an athlete, as Harley knows well. Far from it. I was supposed to be there for this, my 50th right now, and I'm sorry I'm not. But what I have to say about Harley and Peggy is that on the personal side, because I was going through a bad patch in my life, and they scooped me up and took me in and got me through it and threw me back out to live a life that turned out to be wonderful. And my son, Jeff, went to Knox somewhat after that. He was 2 years old when we were hanging out with the Noshers for the first time. Actually, they've known him since he was born. And it's been a real wonderful trip. And I love to see Harley and Peggy every time I go to Galesburg. And I'm in Colorado now and thinking, Harley, of your roots in Colorado where there's lots of fires going on. So
Yeah.
we're going to try and get those out. It's going to snow tonight. So hopefully that will
Good.
happen. So love you, Harley. Love you. Love Peggy. I don't know if Peggy's listening or not.
Well,
but
she'll be glad to know that you were part of this, Sue, and I'll certainly tell her. And I know that she would send her love along with mine.
love you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Sue, thanks. Sue Deans and I do go back to those late 1960 days and 70s. And, you know, when we think about this COVID stuff now, we also think about back in the late 60s, there was this thing called Vietnam and this thing called discourse and this thing called protests and this thing called marches. Harley, what over the years, what would you say to us about how to treat life beyond, I know your win, lose, love. So you lived through the era of Vietnam and the era of recessions and the era now of this. What thoughts, in addition to your win, lose, love, do you have for us about how to deal with life?
Well, Topper, I'm not sure anyone hooked up here for any great set of remarks from me about something as all-encompassing as that, but seeing as you've asked it, here's what I've learned since Knox. I've learned that winning and losing and loving is every bit as critical as I ever thought it was, but that there's one component of loving that takes on incredible significance the further you go. And when you talk about tough periods and COVID-19 and all of the things, the fires and the floods and all of that, one thing that really can help us make our way through individual and group tragedy is forgiveness. And if I were to try and express one thought that has become dominant for me since 2000 and in my life as it's unfolded in the last 20 years, it is that to be forgiving and to be forgiven is about as crucial as anything can be.
Well, when you said, I don't know that anybody can get from me and came on for that reason, you just said the reason, that the business of forgiveness on both ends of it, to be able to forgive and to be forgiven is powerful. And so that in and of itself is powerful. Jordan Anderson, you're listening on that outside looking in. Thank you, Harley. Don't go anywhere. Obviously you won't. Jordan, what are you getting out of this thing? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that it's exactly what I expected to hear about Harley. You know, when I think about working on the project, I had this, you know, unique opportunity. Coach and I didn't know each other all that well when we first started that project, and then by the end of it, I'd felt like I'd known him for 30 or 40 years. I got to learn about somebody through the perspective of so many different people, and so many different people who had been, you know, touched in so many different ways. I mean, we've heard stories of people who, you know, it's been on the fields where he's really made a connection, and we've heard, you know, from others it's been their family, and so it's just been really unique to hear. One thing I was looking back on the project, one thing that we didn't get to talk enough about, and I wish we would have, is Coach, talk a little bit about, you know, how you got to Knox. You know, you went to a school and were coached, you know, at a place that is well known for coaches. So it's no surprise that you turned out to be one of the best. Talk a little bit about your start in getting to Knox.
Well, graduating from Miami of Ohio, I had the good fortune of the man I played for getting the job at Northwestern University, and he took me with him as his freshman coach. So my first 3 years in coaching out of Miami were as the freshman coach at Northwestern. And about midway through that third year, well, not midway really, early spring of that third year, a guy who had been on Eric Pasegan's football staff, who had gone to Augustana to coach, was also the track coach at Augustana, and went down to Knox for a track meet and found out their basketball job was going to be open. So he gave me a call to tell me about that. And my coach had told me he thought I was ready to go out on my own. So I applied for that job and went through the process, and subsequently was offered the job, and always been awfully glad that I took it.
Thanks, Jordan. That's a great frame too, to check on those early year kind of things. There's a few people who have spoken today, and thousands others would be real glad that you took it too, Coach. Hello, thank you very much. We've got somebody, our next caller. So Jordan, thanks for bridging that. Our next caller is somebody that you'll recognize. He's been at Knox for a while. So take it away, Peter Bailey. Take it away, Peter. Sometimes when we have these little glitches, you're all real patient about putting up with our silence, and you know how sometimes technology goes. So as we wait for Peter to come up, which we think he will real shortly here, I'm going to sing a couple of bars. No, I'm not going to sing. Don't worry about it. I'm going to save you that. I'm going to save you, I promise. But we'll wait for Peter to come up, and we're waiting. Some other people will be coming in also, we know. Harley, I want to, while we're waiting for Peter, do this. Peter might be coming on now. We may have him now.
I think he has, I don't think he's hit his video.
My webcam is broke, so I'm microphone only.
Perfect. That's perfect. Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Hey, good to see you.
Thank you.
I wrote a special thing for you today.
Okay.
You remember the Bouye game?
The what game?
The Bouye game.
Bouye. That's classic, Peter. We got to have him do one of those. The Bouye game.
It goes like this. Hey, I went to a great party. Yay. I might have been exposed to coronavirus. Boo. I stayed home for 2 weeks. Yay. But I don't get along with any of my family. Boo. So I finally got my own room. Yay. It was in the basement. Boo. But it was cooler down there when the AC broke. Yay. Eventually I had to go back to work. Boo. But my first day back at work was casual Friday. Yay. Then the weekend weather was crummy. Boo. But I got to stay home and listen to Harley. Yay.
I love it, Peter. I love
it.
Yay,
boo.
Harley, do one of those, because there wasn't a human that rode on a bus who doesn't know a little bit more about the Yay Boo game. Put us through just two of those, because you'll remember a couple of those renditions. So that's a great memory to relive, Peter Bailey. Thank you. Harley, do a couple of those versions if you can.
Of Yay Boo?
Yes, yes, do it.
Well,
Yeah. This is classic Harley.
It's pretty hard to do unless you've got people to say yay and boo.
Well, I'm gonna be the Yay Boo.
Okay,
Jordan and I'll
so
be the Yay Boo.
they
Jordan and I'll
tore down the old church on the hill.
Boo!
But they built a tavern.
Yay!
One bar in the tavern.
Boo!
500 feet long.
Yay!
How far are we going, Tom?
Just keep going. Keep running a few of them out. Keep running a few. I like the tavern stuff. Keep going. Do a couple more.
One bartender.
Boo!
50 barmaids.
Yay! Do you have one more?
They don't sell beer on Sundays.
Boo!
They give it away.
Yay! You did it. You did it. You did it. So that could go on for hours and hours on a bus ride home after a win or a loss. And that's why we agreed to do that. Last thing, what was it called, Jordan? Love. One of the reasons we loved Harley is the humor and the joy that he brought to being in there. Boy, look at this. This is kind of interesting. So our next caller up is somebody who is related to somebody in this room. I love this. So you may not know this face or this name. Well, you know the name. Do you know Hunter Anderson yet, Harley?
Well, I know of him. I've never met him, but I'll take it back. I met him at the Win, Lose or Love and
Hunter
hoped that he would come to Knox College.
Is Jordan Anderson's younger brother, who came out of the same small town called Loda, Illinois, now in Paxton, played at PBL. He's an all-state performer. He's a freshman at Knox College, ready to play some football if they ever get a chance to play. Hunter, you're awesome for coming in. Take it away. Hunter, it's yours with Harley.
Coach, good to see you again.
Hello, good to see you.
That conversation we had back in last year, actually, it turned my head towards Knox a little bit. I never told anyone that, but it was something that was always in the back of my head. And, you said that two siblings could never go to the same school, or I said two siblings could never go to the same school, and within 30 seconds, you changed my mind on that one. So,
good.
My question is, what advice do you have for anyone starting out at Knox?
Thanks, Hunter.
Oh gosh. Well, when I used to speak to the freshman athletes in the fall, Hunter, the first thing that I tried to get them to understand was that they needed to set their priorities absolutely firmly, without any question, and that there would be three parts to their life going forward. And for an athlete, it would be their studies, their athletics, and a social life. And you can do two well, but you can't do three. So you can't do three well. You can do two real well, and the third one has to suffer. And there can't be any question what the two have to be. Have to be your studies. And then for an athlete, I think it has to be athletics. But if it can't be that, and it has to be social, then the athletics aren't going to be very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hunter, what do you think of that response? What's your thought to, I think he's got something there, but, or what would you say to that?
When he first started out with that, I kind of recognized it a little bit. I think he's starting to rub off on Jordan, because Jordan told me that a couple weeks ago when he came up to visit me. And Jordan said that he always wanted to do all three. And I think if I can go for all three, that's the greatest thing ever. But, I really have to have my studies and my athletics straight.
Good. That's good.
Hunter, can I ask you one more thing before we cut you loose? What was it that Harley said to you, or what was it about him that got you to think more seriously about Knox? Can you put that in 2 sentences?
I don't know if I can put it in 2 sentences, but I'll try. Harley never met me before that night, and he knew I was considering Knox as a school. and he knew my concerns. And, he showed me an example of what could happen when two siblings go to the same school. And that's just something I never thought about, all through high school. I thought I never want to follow in Jordan's footsteps. And he showed me two siblings that never crossed paths, but they went to the same school at the same time. So he connected with me on a deeper level on the first time I ever met him.
Hunter, thank you kindly. You're going to be a gem at Knox College, so I appreciate your saying that and being here. Thank you, Hunter. There's not one of us that can't relate to what Hunter talked about when we were at Knox College. Cliff Rudnick said it with the eyes. People have said it with your love. People have said it with your enthusiasm, my brother, others. But you've meant so much to so many of us, Harley. And we're going to hear now from a gentleman by the name Hunter. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Mike Dietz. So, Mike, it's going to be yours in a minute. So, Mike, as soon as you're up, you're going to be able to be on with Harley. And we don't have a lot longer to go. We're going to go for another 10 minutes or so and see what we do here. But, Mike, if you're there, take it away.
Hey, Harley, it's great to see you again.
Mike, I don't see you, but it's good to hear your voice.
Oh, really? I'm not sure what's, I got to start my video here.
Now I see you, Mike. How you doing? Are you still a principal?
And I'm doing great. And it looks like you're doing great as well. Just parenthetically, Topper, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Mike.
Athlete, I remember watching you play. It's all heart. I mean, the ability was certainly there, but heart and situations that at the time I think were really challenging. That never quit piece is always stuck in my mind. And when you came to our school in Mequon to speak to the kids, it made, I think, quite a difference to those kids and teachers. And I'd just like to say that you were not a one-shot deal. It all folded into a broader program. And
that's kind.
Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Sure can. Thank you.
That's great. And Harley, among other things, the first thing I have to say to you, because it's the first thing we ever say to each other when we see each other over the last number of years, is Jonas Bradley. And I'm really glad that just a little part of me was able to help him think that Knox would be a great place for him to come.
It was a great relationship, and I always appreciate the help you gave me with that.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of me, but I just have to say, I listened to Cliff, who's probably Cliff Rudnick, who's probably my best friend coming out of college. He came to us and ran cross country while I was captain of the team there, and that friendship, he even stood up at our wedding in Detroit. It was a great thing. But beyond that, I have to say, Dean Trevor, you and Knox, y'all put your stamp on me as a coach and a teacher, and later on as a school leader. You demonstrated servant leadership before it became, say, a jargon term today. And I just wanted you to know that.
Thanks, Mike.
And the last thing I would say is that, two things. One is I've been able to witness some other folks who've been giving their wishes to you, the past, the present, the future. Two of my sons, Joe and Paul, attended the Knox basketball camps back in the 90s, and I know they met you. They really enjoyed working with Coach Hyman, but it's interesting how those experiences at Knox for those kids who were getting ready to go to middle school or go to high school, actually finish up, it really made a difference to them. The touch that you all put on those kids, mine and others, it really made a difference. And sometimes, I know you know this, but kids watch. They watch who we are, what we say, what we do, and you really made a difference.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that today. You've been awesome, and I appreciate your comments earlier too. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to start to wind down here. And Jordan, I'm going to ask you if you have any kind of closing comments. Harley, if you've got that, but don't you quit thing up in your head, that's such a mantra of yours that's meant so much to so many of us. Would that be something you'd be willing to share with us now after Jordan's done? I'd like to say a couple things, that we've got kind of a special closing of sorts that we're going to go to. So we'll be getting there soon. Jordan, do you have a comment?
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank everybody for joining today. It was fantastic to hear all the great notes for Coach. And you know, Hunter was saying it earlier, but I'm thankful for you, Coach, and you know, getting Hunter to come to Knox. You know, Knox is so special to me. It's now I can say it's where my family goes to school. And it was special to get to know you. And although we've only known each other for a short time, just know you've had a profound impact on my life. And you know, now I've met my girlfriend from Knox, and it's just a special place, and it's because of people like you. So thank you for that.
Jordan, you know this, but I'm going to tell you again. What you did for my family will always be a hallmark in the history of the Noshers.
I appreciate that, Coach. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yes, he does, Jordan. Yes, he does. Harley, do you want to do a notion of, but don't you quit?
Sure. Ready?
We're ready. Everybody
When
who's
things
still
go,
tuned in.
when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you're trudging is all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a person turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. So don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint in the clouds of doubt. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit.
Phew. In these days and times, I can't think of a better notion to share with all of us. To those of you who zoomed in, listened in, got through, we've all been moved by this man today once again. And that notion right there is a fitting thought as we begin to close this. Coach, you know this, my life is different because of you. I love you. Thank you. And I want to close with something that I think you'll find very special. And so I'd like to go to that now, if we might, while we say thanks to Eric, thanks to crew, definite thanks to Jordan, thanks to all those of you who came on. And Harley, I think that you'll find this to be something that you'll appreciate and enjoy, because I know how meaningful this next group of people are to you. So I think we're ready for that. If we've got it ready to go.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
Hi, great
Knox.
grandpa. Hello, family.
Oh man!
Grandpa?
There we are.
Hi.
Oh.
Oh gosh!
Can you see all of us?
Hi, guys.
I see everybody. Everybody. I love you all so much.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Eric.
Very fun to watch.
Hi, Liam. Hi, Lukey. Hi, Emmett. Wow. Oh, Topper.
Warrior, you right there in the background. Does anybody want to say anything while you're there? Because, we knew this would be.
We just want to say how grateful we are that Grandpa has been such a presence at Knox and so special, of course, to our lives. So we're just very grateful for him and for the whole Knox community.
There's a Knox family right there, brother. Hi, you guys. Oh, gosh.
Well, we want to say, Harley, hail Knox all glorious. We want to say through these people that are in front of you now and on the screen, hail Harley all glorious. So to all of you, the Noshers, the Hardens, the Hamids, all of the folks that are out there, the Azizes, thanks for joining us. That's Harley's family, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching, and they are the critical piece that gave him to us and us back to him. And what a blessing it is for all of you to come on. So we'll wave to you. Harley, we love you. We love all of you for coming on, family, and those of you who were on earlier. And you can stay and still enjoy Harley for a minute if you like. But we're going to sign off and say goodbye. And we do hail Knox all glorious and hail Harley all glorious too. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We appreciate all
Thank
of you.
Topper.
Thank you, Topper and crew,
Thanks,
for
Topper.
inviting us.
It was a great day, Topper.
Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Nice.
I wish I were in with the clock.
Love you, Dad. Good seeing you.
Love you, great grandpa.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Tell us who you are. Can you, Kathy and Lori, can you give us some names?
Okay, this is Melissa. This is
Melissa.
Jeff. This is Liam, Luke, Rich, and Kathy.
Yes.
And we've got Hamid, class of 08. I'm class of 10. This is Asan, and this is Nasir.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. We love you, great grandpa.
We love you too, honey.
Say hi to Mom. Hi.
Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
That was so fun.
Okay, I'll call you later, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.